Hello and welcome to this edition of BizWatch. I'm Qin Yi. Topping this week's bulletin, U.S. Treasury Secretary John Snow has praised the Chinese government's reform of the RMB exchange regime. Visiting Shanghai's financial center, Snow said it was in China's interest to continue down that path. Li Zhuangmiao reports local economists are emphasizing the time required to achieve such reforms.
The U.S. Treasury Secretary spoke highly of the renminbi reform after visiting Shanghai's foreign exchange system and stock exchange at the start of his week-long visit to China. He said the new RMB regime allowed greater play and greater scope of market forces, but the government still needed to bring more flexibility to the system.
Continued progress on the flexibility of the currency was important for China's economy to get the signals right. And to allow monetary policy to pursue its traditional role of leaning against inflation and leaning against deflation and promoting non-inflationary growth.
China revaluated the yuan by 2.1% in July and scraped its decade-old peg to the dollar, choosing instead to let it trade in a float against a basket of currencies of its major trading partners. Since then, the yuan has gained about 0.3% against the dollar. But Snow is still under great pressure from American manufacturers and some cabinet members who contend the yuan is now undervalued by as much as 40%. They say it pushes the trade balance in favor of China by making Chinese goods cheaper in the US and American products more expensive in China. China's trade surplus with the US surged to $162 billion last year, a record US trade gap with any country. But economists say the surplus is about more than just currency.
The change in exchange rate, will not automatically, address, the trade imbalance issue. Just, look at, the trade between U.S. and Japan. After Japanese yuan appreciate considerably, still, Japan ran a big, trade, surplus with USA. So we have to, consider what is the root cause, the true, root cause of the issue.
Besides the RMB exchange regime, Secretary Snow is also calling on the Chinese government to open up its financial sector, saying the capital market has a large potential to play a bigger role in facilitating the country's growth.
We discussed the progress that's being made in putting in place a platform for foreign exchange trading and for foreign exchange products and bond market RMB products, derivatives and hedges and options and futures. These instruments that allow for a much more efficient functioning of capital markets and currency markets. We encouraged the efforts to continue to expand the platform to make available more products on the platform.
Economists say Snow's visit paves the way for closer economic cooperation as governments get to know each other's action plans. As he expressed his astonishment over Shanghai's economic transformation, Snow also hoped the Chinese government could accelerate its financial modernization, bringing more opportunities for China and the US and the global economy. Li Zhuangmiao for BizWatch.